Today, discover the LinkedIn method for acquiring new clients so effective, suits and upper management have taken notice and may soon shut it down.
You know, when we post stuff out and when I post out comments and that, and I show people exactly what I do and how I do it, and then how we take them from being a comment or a like or a share to actually getting on a call with us. And it's amazing when you see that journey happen. And when you see that light bulb switch, when that flip switches and the person gets it, floodgates open.
I'm Ken Newhouse. Building a profitable business isn't only about generating leads and driving sales. It's about who we are and what we're made of. It's about finding the most effective methods to persuade, inspire, and ignite the imagination of others so you can succeed in business. If you're a member of the new breed of entrepreneur, I invite you to join the quest as we reveal the newest and most effective methods you can use to get clients now. You know, LinkedIn is filled with tens of thousands of highly qualified prospects for your business, but does your inability to convert them into paying clients frustrate you? Does the fact that while your business delivers amazing results for your clients, you've got a bulletproof LinkedIn profile, you're posting value-packed articles multiple times per week, sharing and commenting consistently but failing to generate new business, well, does that make you feel like giving up? When you look at the huge amount of time you spend on LinkedIn updating your profile, writing posts, engaging with and sharing the posts of others, have you calculated how much money that's cost you? If there was a new method for getting high-value clients from LinkedIn that let you use and benefit from it before you paid for it, would you want to take a closer look? Everybody knows that while LinkedIn is where you'll find more of your perfect prospects congregating than any other social platform online. On the other hand, everybody knows that while there's no shortage of so-called LinkedIn marketing experts, figuring out how to generate new business from the platform consistently is nothing short of impossible for most entrepreneurs. On today's show, I'm interviewing a gentleman who, for all intents and purposes, has figured out how to transform this time-sucking frustration of a platform into what could be the most effective client acquisition method you've ever used. His methodology has been so effective, in fact, that in an effort to keep the playing field level for all their users, the suits at LinkedIn headquarters have taken notice and may soon put the brakes on him and his students. Hi, I'm Ken Newhouse, and I want to welcome you to episode number 380 of the Get Clients Now podcast. My guest today is Matt Clark, CEO of The Virtual Edge. Clark is also co-creator, along with an unnamed partner and former high-ranking government cyber sleuth, of the Rainmaker system, a system, as I mentioned, that's helping Clark and his students generate tens of millions of dollars in business from LinkedIn. Yes, you heard me right, tens of millions of dollars in new business generated from LinkedIn. So if you and your business are on the LinkedIn platform, and you'd absolutely love to be able to sit back and reap the financial benefits from the treasure trove of new clients coming into your business from LinkedIn, this podcast episode is for you. If Clark's methodology is really as good as everybody says it is, imagine what that could mean for your business. Imagine the financial benefit you'd enjoy if you got 4 or 5 additional new clients per month and you could do it consistently. What would that be worth to your business? And lastly, the most amazing thing about Clark and his system is that you can start using and benefiting from it before you commit to paying for it. Listen, this is going to be the most exciting podcast you've ever heard on the typically boring subject of using LinkedIn to generate new clients for your business. And make no mistake about it, you are in for the surprise of your career today. And if you're ready, let's go ahead and welcome my guest, Matt Clark, onto the show. So, man, it's good to have you on the show today. How you doing?
Great, Ken. Great to be here, man. Very, very cool. Love what you've done there in the background there, just introducing me.
You're all the way in South Africa. For the person listening who may not be familiar with you, I know you've got a huge, massive footprint in South Africa. You've got actually a really rapidly growing footprint, really satisfied clients in the United States. But let's assume for a second, I want you to take 2 or 3 minutes, give us your backstory.
Sure.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, your company, kind of set the stage for today's call so we have a good place to start from.
Yeah, perfect. 100%. And, you know, for me, and I'll kind of go a little bit back in terms of my business journey, is that, you know, I came from, my background is not in online marketing. My background is not in digital marketing or anything like that. I had to learn all of these skills. You know, in fact, I come from a background of doing door-to-door sales. When I finished school, I mean, I worked as a waiter first, and then I went over to the UK and started knocking some doors, selling gas and electric there. And man, I tell you something, that is literally the best growing up fast, kick in the butt skills that you can get. And then when I came back to South Africa, I started selling telephone systems door to door. And then I actually started a company with two business partners. And we really grew that company pretty fast. And, in 4 years, we had like 60 staff members. We're doing, about 100 million Rand in revenue, which is about $6 million in revenue. Zero marketing, zero advertising, just going out and knocking doors day in and day out. So I can still direct you. If you ever come to South Africa, I can still direct you out of my head around pretty much any town outlying the major towns, because that was our strategy. We had a little bit of a different strategy. And so it kind of just got to a stage in the business where I was like, we're making a lot of money, but I didn't have really a life because, it was either work like crazy and then party like crazy. And I just started feeling like, it was eating into my soul. Like I wanted something different. I wanted to have that time, location freedom, work from anywhere, travel the world, because traveling is one of my highest values. But I was traveling to places, but, pretty crappy places, staying in crappy hotels and just working all the time in the industrial areas. I don't exactly, classify that as traveling. And so, I went searching. And at one stage, we had a lot of these success resources actually brought out a lot of American speakers to South Africa to come and talk about growing businesses. And I started noticing some things. I'd sold my business at that time. And, I was fortunate enough that I made quite a good bit of cash from it. So I wasn't like stressed for work or anything like that. And I started noticing a lot of these speakers and what they were doing. And I realized like, this is something that I want to do. Not necessarily to get on stage and speak, although that has happened actually as a byproduct of that, but more taking a look at what they're doing in terms of traveling the world, earning lots of money, or so they all said, but they've got systems in place that can keep that ticking without everything relying on them. And that's when I noticed a lot of them were using this little program called Infusionsoft. And I started diving deep into Infusionsoft. And I realized, I looked at this and I was like, there's a piece of software that I can use that could do things that I used to have tons of salespeople doing. Like, it's amazing. And, they don't get sick. They don't not show up for work or lose their phones or get pregnant or give you any crappy excuses. It just shows up all the time. And so I actually landed up becoming an Infusionsoft partner and helping businesses automate. And as we started down this pathway, what I started seeing was that, okay, it's very cool that you can go and automate your business, but now you need leads to put into this thing. You need to feed the beast, right? And I'm not technical. I mean, your handwriting is about 10 times neater than mine, maybe even 100 times neater than mine. I couldn't figure out Facebook. I couldn't figure out Google, YouTube, any of that stuff. And a friend of mine told me to go and check out LinkedIn. And, I started diving into it and I made a couple of changes and it really made sense for me. Because for me, the number one thing is that I don't know how to build funnels or websites. Now I've got people that do that for me, but I don't know how to do that myself. And all I wanted to do was be able to get in front of my ideal clients, get on a call with them, because I know is that if I'm in front of somebody and they're a good fit and I can genuinely help them, chances are they're going to become a client, right? And that's what I was after. And I wasn't getting with, Facebook and Google. And then, everyone says you got to build funnels and then you go and do ClickFunnels and it works for people. It didn't work for me. And when I started on this LinkedIn journey, I realized I could go out and actually virtually knock doors. Right. And I started with 20 doors a day, started getting some meetings, and then those meetings became clients and said, well, if we were facing that problem, we're pretty sure that other people were facing that problem too. And so we started helping people. And we realized that it's actually not just about getting on LinkedIn, but there's certain steps that you need to take in a step-by-step format in order to get predictable and repeatable results. And, 2.5 years ago, we actually stopped doing any of the Infusionsoft work. And it was a big mindset shift for me because we were making good money there as well. Went all in with LinkedIn and teaching people how to build and grow predictable and repeatable high-ticket client acquisition systems, without websites, without funnels, without even paying for ads, and even if they are afraid of tech. And, in the last 2.5 years, we've helped over 1,500 entrepreneurs in 26 countries now to get results. Man, it's just been a beautiful thing. Seeing people's lives change because of it, that's what gets me going.
Matt, let me ask you this question. As I mentioned before, you've got a huge footprint in South Africa, 26 different countries. Your market in the United States is growing rapidly, but what's something about you that, as an example, people in the places where you're more widely known would know about you that people in the United States or Canada may not know about you, but you'd like them to know?
Yeah, I would say that, and I've kind of covered a little bit of that as well, is that, I'm not a typical, online marketer, online guru who's, made all their money from teaching other people how to make money online. My experience comes from being in the trenches, from knocking doors, from selling telephone systems, copiers, and CCTV. And whenever I think about how to help businesses grow, I mean, we've had experience in a lot of businesses, selling to those businesses as well as now helping them grow. But I like to take a really straight up, no BS approach. It's about what works, right? And whenever we take a look at funnels and when we take a look at your activity that you're getting done on a day-to-day basis, we don't care about vanity metrics. We care about what actually gets results. So I think the one thing that I'd like people to know is that our number one driving factor is results. That's it. That's all I care about. And I know that's all that the people who come in with us care about. Everything else is a bonus on top of that.
Yeah, money in the bank. That's what really counts ultimately, because we're all in a business. Like I like to tell my coaching members and my private clients, we're in business to make a profit on purpose. So you've got this awesome system for LinkedIn. It's called the Rainmaker system. Before we dive into that, which we'll get to in just a few minutes, what was the spark that led you to actually want to create that system? What was it that said, hey, you know what? I've kind of figured this out. Actually, this works so well. I feel an obligation to bring this to the marketplace.
I was out looking for something, and it's so interesting how it's progressed. Like back then, my number one goal was I want to create this lifestyle business that ran without me, that, generated money while I sleep and all the rest that I didn't really have to work too hard for. And it's so interesting how it's changed. And while that is still, it's become more of a reality every single day. And while I've gotten so much closer to that, it's completely changed for us. And, I think one of the big things that I remember working with this one client who actually, they decided to take a chance on me and go with this guy who didn't have any digital marketing experience, but they could see that I actually cared and that I was going to give it my all. And they landed up sticking with me for quite a while. And, in the beginning, we kind of got results and sometimes did, sometimes didn't, but I was always there with them. And I remember when I cracked this nut for myself, and then we then implemented that in their business, and all of a sudden everything just blew up. I was like, that's it. This is the thing. And I know exactly who to help and how to help them do it and what kind of people you need. And that was the thing that kind of sparked it. And, now the mission has evolved from, just building that lifestyle business to, my business partner and I have actually, we want to create a platform for people to achieve their dreams. That includes staff, that includes clients, that includes anybody that comes in. This is a platform that they can do it.
You mentioned earlier, you talk about Google and Facebook and funnels and websites and things like that. For the person listening, they're thinking in their mind, why not Facebook? Why not these other social platforms? Why did you choose LinkedIn?
Yeah. So for me, coming back to that thing of not being technical, but I'm also not somebody who likes to go and put my entire life out on Facebook. And, I've been learning some strategies and, learning from some of the guys who are doing really well and doing organic stuff as well. And I'm just like, even now, it's still not easy for me to go and do that. Even though I know it generates me clients, I know that it picks up and it helps people, it's still not easy for me to do that. But what is easy for me, and it's like a straight line. Fastest point from A to B is a straight line. I know is that if I can position myself correctly, and I can reach out and talk directly to the right people and just get that in front of the right people. Number one, people are going to reach out to me. But number two, people are going to be a lot more receptive when I reach out to them as well. But also LinkedIn is not, I look at it very differently. Like Facebook is a social platform. When you go on there, like on my Facebook, you're going to see pictures of my wedding, of travel, of me with friends and having a good time. Whereas on LinkedIn, it's business. It's a professional network. And that was the key distinction for me. So number one, it's a professional network. And as it stands today, I think there's over 700 million, right? 700 million professionals on the network. People's mindsets are there to do business. Have you ever had somebody reach out to you on Facebook, send you a friend request, and then try to sell you something?
Yeah, they do that on LinkedIn as well, all the time.
100%. Difference is on LinkedIn, it's a professional network. It's designed for business. It's designed for networking. Facebook, you kind of feel like, it's not that great. LinkedIn, you'll entertain it a little bit more. But when you get it right, and I see this all the time because you brought up a really good point there as well. We see this all the time. And we're seeing it obviously more and more on LinkedIn as more people are getting on and seeing it as a platform that can do that, which creates a huge opportunity. Most people are just doing it wrong, right? They are trying to spam people. They're taking a shotgun approach. They don't really care about the person that they're doing. For them, if they reach out to, 1,000 people in a month, then if one person says yes, they'll call that a success. For us, I want to make sure that you're laser targeted, you're focused, you're dealing with the right people, solving the right problems, which means you can have less conversations, close more clients or enroll more clients into your business, and actually work less with less stress. Because for me, it's not just about building wealth and building a big business, but also about creating that lifestyle as well. And, I want my clients to experience that too.
All right. So I got a question, and this question kind of came up in talking with a couple of my private clients when I told them I was going to be interviewing you. The question is, if this guy's system is so effective for getting him clients on LinkedIn and helping his clients get new clients, maybe customers, even patients on LinkedIn, why does he want to be on your podcast, Ken, to get exposure to all these other people? If he's got this automated system and it's working so well for him, why would he even need to be on a podcast? I think that's a fair question. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, 100%. And I think it comes down to one word. And exactly, you said it already, is exposure. For me, I'm a believer in multiple streams. So like the wealthy people have got multiple streams of income, right? We build multiple streams of income. For me, I build multiple streams of leads. And that brings me multiple streams of income. So here's the thing, right? We've got our Rainmaker system process that we run on LinkedIn, which is all organic. Okay. So it's direct outreach. We've got some automation running. There's some direct outreach. And I've got my sales team that goes and does that, and they qualify people and they get them on calls to me. So we've built a whole system in the back end, not just getting leads, but how do you predictably convert them into paying customers, right? But we also run LinkedIn paid ads, okay, which is doing amazing. Since Saturday, we've generated 80 leads since Saturday through LinkedIn, paid ads. We're also running Facebook ads. We finally started to get onto the Facebook thing and starting to run some Facebook ads, and podcasts are a big part of our strategy as well. It's about having multiple streams of leads and getting laser targeted with who you connect with.
So for the person who's on LinkedIn, let's say they're super qualified professional, business owner, entrepreneur, whatever they are.
Yep.
They're doing everything right, but they're struggling. What's the biggest challenge you see for those individuals to actually be able to utilize LinkedIn to attract new clients into their business?
Yeah, so the biggest thing that we see where people get really stuck is there's a couple of things. Generally, what we find is that people are really good at what they do, but they try and solve all the problems at the same time, right? Instead of using the power of one and focusing on solving one big problem for one ideal client. Because here's the reality, right? You can build a $100,000 a month business with a handful of clients. A handful of clients. If you play it right, if you've got that right offer. But if you're going on LinkedIn and you're coming to expect to run it like a funnel, like Facebook, where you want to run Facebook ads, get them into ClickFunnels, take them through a process and have them spit out clients at the other end, forget it. It is a professional network. You want to get laser focused on one ideal client and learn, understand them deeply, right? Do your market research. Know what their pains, don't just think of them as a client, but go deep into their pains and frustrations, their fears, the things keeping them up at night, their goals and desires and dreams and aspirations. Once you've got that, you can use that to create your top 1% positioning, or what we call your pickup line. And this is going to allow you to tell people how to work with you before they even talk to you. Now imagine this. Imagine somebody comes to your page and they see your pickup line, which shows them who you target, what measurable result you can get them in a fixed time frame, and you've got a proven system or methodology. Now someone is connecting with you and starting a conversation. It changes the whole game. Then you've got to turn your profile into something that is not an egocentric profile that focuses everything on you, because that's the big thing I see for most people. They're so focused on them. Your clients do not care about you. They don't care about your business. You've got to put everything on them. And that's why getting that ideal client right and choosing one is so critical, because you're not going to be able to create a compelling message to get to them if you don't do that work. And that doesn't matter, by the way, if you use Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube or Google, it doesn't really matter. If you haven't got that ideal client clearly defined, you're not going to be able to create a compelling market to get to them.
I'll go so far as to say, as you've mastered LinkedIn, obviously there are things, it's an evolving platform. Yesterday, I was reading about how LinkedIn is going through, it's called human focused design, otherwise known as gamification. But one of the challenges on LinkedIn is how to incorporate gamification or game-like strategies and operations and functions into the platform. And I think they got some really cool stuff on the forefront that's coming up. But what would you say is the most important lesson? Just one, and I'm going to limit you to 20 to 30 seconds. What is the most important single lesson you've ever learned about acquiring new clients from LinkedIn?
Yeah, here we go. Get targeted and focus on building the relationship. Target one ideal client, focus on building the relationship instead of closing the sale. Marketing is not about closing sales, it's about opening conversations. That's what I'd say.
Okay, and so for opening conversations, how do we manage, and maybe this goes to the Rainmaker system, which again, I'm going to give you ample time to discuss. How does a person manage? I could not imagine, my podcast brings me like more people than I can deal with, but how does a person on LinkedIn, if they're reaching out, how do they manage all these leads, these prospects that they're trying to touch and reach out and things like that? Is that what your system does? In a very short answer, I'm just kind of curious. Is that what the Rainmaker system does?
No. Depending on what you use, like Sales Navigator kind of does it. It is a bit of a challenge with LinkedIn. I'm not going to lie to you, right? So our goal whenever we do this is how do we get people from LinkedIn and move them into something that we can actually track? It's very difficult to track inside LinkedIn.
All right, so I got this scenario. In this scenario, you've got two ladies that own businesses. They're in the same industry. Their businesses are both awesome. If you ask their clients about the experience of working with these ladies, their clients absolutely love them, and the clients of these ladies are getting fabulous results. Here's the caveat to that little story. One of those ladies is on LinkedIn, and she's knocking it out of the park. She's getting tons of new clients from LinkedIn. The other lady, who's as equally as successful, her business is awesome, personality, everything about them is equal, except her experience on LinkedIn is considerably different. She's struggling. Maybe she's picking up one or two here and there, maybe through like a referral of one person to another. But what would you say is, one or two primary differences between the approach these two ladies are using, whether they're using your system or not? What are the two differences between the one that's really doing well and the one that's really struggling?
Great question, by the way. So it's your positioning. Okay, so number one, how are you positioned? What does your profile look like? Are you telling a story, walking people down a journey step by step? The second thing is make sure that you're targeted in your positioning. So you're targeting one ideal client, right? And solving a big problem for them. The second thing is your strategy on outreach. So what activity are you doing? So we always kind of look at this. There's two kinds of indicators. You've got your lagging indicators, which will tell you the results of what has happened and the activity that you've done. And then you've got your leading indicators, which is the activity that you are doing to get a certain result. And I would say that one person is doing a lot more of those leading indicator activities than just waiting and hoping for the result. Now, some of those will be engaging in conversation, right? Posting regularly, commenting on other people's posts and articles, engaging with insights. So actually going and targeting the specific people and engaging with them directly. Maybe they're on premium and they're actually doing direct outreach and having conversations with people and they're fast on the response, right? So many times I see when I go and take a look at some of our clients even on LinkedIn, and I've kind of got to give them a bit of a kick in the butt as well to, share with them to, go and do this. When I start taking a look at their posts.
I don't want to interrupt, but that never happens with my clients. I never have to kick these people in the butt. My coaches never have to kick me in the butt. So I'm not sure, Matt, what's going on with the people you're working with. I don't know, but you might need some new clients if these people require a kick in the butt. Go figure. Go ahead.
Yeah. Like, sometimes it's more a case of showing them the things and, it's not a kick in the butt to go and get it done. It's more a case of showing them the things that they may be missing. So, one of the things is that when people are posting out content, and I see this all the time, they post that content and then people actually like, comment, and share, and they do nothing with it. And they respond back, oh yeah, thanks for this. And, glad you enjoyed it. Instead of actually engaging in a conversation and starting to walk them down a journey. When we post stuff out and when I post out comments in that, and I show people exactly what I do and how I do it, and then how we take them from being a comment or a like or a share to actually getting on a call with us. And it's amazing when you see that journey happen. And when you see that light bulb switch, when that flip switches and the person gets it, floodgates open.
Something that really grabbed my attention, Matt, you talked about the person who's on LinkedIn and they're posting content. It's really good content, super high quality content. They're curating content, so they're sharing other people's content. They're engaging with maybe their target prospects' content and, commenting on it and sharing it, things like that. What would you say to that person? And you may have just kind of given an answer to that, but I want to make sure that the person who's listening right now really gets a hold of this. What do you say to that guy or that gal who is doing all of those things and they're still not getting results? What are they missing? What's not happening here? Why is LinkedIn not working for them?
Well, if it's the ideal clients and if we're comparing those, apples to apples, and the one person's killing it on LinkedIn and the other person isn't, I would have to take a look at the strategy, but I would really come down to the positioning, and if they're positioned exactly the same and if, they're doing the same sort of stuff, then it comes down to, sometimes it's, it can be something a little bit outside of it. And what are you actually attracting into your life? And what is your mindset? And what are you actually working on that's bringing people in? But, I would always go to the positioning as the first thing. So often we get someone come in and it's like kind of right. They use the right kind of formula. And when you start taking a look at it and you get them to go and do the market research, and then you actually get the words that the clients use and you put those words in there, we've seen people literally change 3 words in their headline. And it's a difference between a 20% or 15 to 20% connection rate and a 50% connection rate. 3 words.
That's a huge difference. So yeah. This is a 2-part question. Take about 2 minutes to answer it. And I promise you, we're going to get into the Rainmaker system. I'm going to give you ample time before we wrap up today. I've got several more questions. What do you like most about LinkedIn as a tool or platform for acquiring new clients? And what do you like least?
So the thing I like the most is just the directness. You can just be super direct, talk directly to the person. If you set it up right, not only can you be super direct, but more importantly, people will reach out to you, right? They're getting more and more active on it. And also, I think one of the things I like is when you post something, man, it gets reach, right? We did a test and we posted one thing on our Facebook group that is very active. And then we posted something on my LinkedIn page. The thing on the Facebook group hardly got any traction. The thing on the LinkedIn page had something like 9,000 views, 61 comments. It went nuts. Exact same thing, right? So I love that side of things. The thing I like the least about it, and I mentioned this before, is the tracking. Man, it's just difficult to keep track of conversations and put them in the right buckets. And you can use the leads and tag them and everything in Sales Navigator, but it's just not clean. It's very difficult. And especially, when you're used to working, we've got CRMs in our business and we've got a lot of processes and systems in place. And when you're used to working with that kind of stuff, and then you've got this antiquated, it's like throwing business cards into a drawer and trying to sift through them to remember who the hell you spoke to and what you spoke to them about. So that's a little bit frustrating.
Yeah, it is for me as well. So it's just, I don't have the time. I don't want to invest the time when I don't have to actually, but I don't want to invest the time trying to manage all that stuff and then the data input and everything else. And quite honestly, I don't want anybody to do that for me because it's not me. I want to be the person communicating with my target prospects. So I still use LinkedIn. It's been fabulous. I love the platform, but I think for the average person without an organized system to help them through this, that's why I agreed to have you on the show. That's why I actually wanted you on the show, because of your system. We're going to get to that here in just about 2 or 3 minutes. You don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but I want you to answer it.
No pressure.
Matt, from the standpoint of using LinkedIn to acquire new clients, what has been your biggest failure and what'd you learn from it?
Yeah. So biggest failure has been, going in with a mindset of we need to connect with, hundreds of people a day, drive the numbers. It's a numbers game, just really spray and pray method, and using multiple systems and, just trying everything. I'd say that's the biggest failure. But instead of doing a spray and pray method, being a lot more intentional about who we're reaching out to. being a lot more specific about the message that we send out to them and a lot more personal as well. And what we're seeing, because, I actually have one of my sales team running my profile for me, and she runs her profile, and each of them generate their own leads from LinkedIn to bring in. Those leads, when they come in, once we've reached out and personally connected with them, they're just the best leads. They're the best quality leads. They convert the fastest. They spend the most money. They stay clients for longer. And also, it's just so much easier to convert them because I just show them, hey, look, this is the process that we took you through. This is what we're going to teach you to do. And they love it.
All right. So, Matt, let's do this. I know the person listening right now is chomping at the bit and they're like, all right, enough questions. Let's talk about the Rainmaker system. So what I'd like you to do first is, what are the 3 most important, amazing attributes that my listener is going to be able to say, wow, I got to get this. I want the Rainmaker system. What are the 3 most amazing things as far as attracting new clients and getting them into your business quickly that the Rainmaker system provides?
Well, the best part about it, and the thing that I love, is that it's literally a step-by-step system that you can plug into, where we've done all the hard work, we've done all the trying and testing and failing and figuring out for you, that you can just get the benefit of that. And when you get it set up, this is going to deliver high quality leads that will actually turn into clients on a daily basis. And the thing I love so much about it is when we figured this out and we really got this thing right, was that they convert at a much higher rate as well. So what ends up happening is you actually need to have less conversations to get more clients. The second thing it's going to do, and I think this is the one where I see people really have the biggest aha moments they love the most, is getting your positioning right. So often when I talk to people and I ask them, what do? They give me this, 5-minute long explanation. At the end, you're still clueless. And we look at it and it's like the elevator pitch is dead. So what it's forced us to do is figure out how can we get that message in 120 characters. It's like a tweet, right? So some of the people that come to us, they've been struggling with their message and their positioning for years. And we've literally had people say to us, it's taken us 10 years to get to the stage and you've helped us get it right in 10 minutes. So those are some of the 2 most exciting things. And then the third thing is how to take those leads and put in a predictable and repeatable sales process that can convert them into paying customers. Because generating the leads is only one piece of the puzzle. One of the biggest challenges that we've seen is that most people don't have the sales experience that I've got. They haven't knocked doors for 8 years. Most of them are even afraid of sales. They're really good at what they do, but they don't want to get on a phone and pressure people and be salesy and say, buy now or die. So we actually created the next piece of the puzzle, which is how to walk people down a journey that feels non-salesy. That's like selling without selling. Like I really had to rack my brains on this, going from door to door, like buy or die, to how do we do this that anybody can do this, right? And, I'm quite happy to say, one of our clients, she is 72 years old. She is a clinical psychologist, no marketing or sales expertise at all. And she's generating 8 clients a month through this. Yeah. So I look at that and, most of the people that we talk with are not 72. She's a bit of an anomaly, but there's no excuse. And the best part is you don't need to build funnels. You don't even need to have a website. You don't need to have fancy tech, none of that stuff, right? It's simple. It's straightforward. It's direct. Those are my 3 things.
All right, so I'm going to ask one last question, and then we're going to ask about how people can find out more about you, how they can get in touch with you. Remember, every guest I have on the Get Clients Now podcast, whether they're an author of a book, whether they have a coaching program, a combination, whatever it is, I guarantee that your investment of not only your money, but your time will come back to you in multiples of multiples. And so with Matt's Rainmaker system, the coaching program, I'm going to guarantee it. You're going to invest. A little different with the coaching programs when I guarantee those. Matt's going to hold your feet to the fire. So you can't just invest in his program and not do any of the work. You can't not show up, right? And so based on his feedback, if you do everything he tells you to do in the system and it doesn't pay out for you in spades, like beyond your wildest expectations, email me at ken@kennewhouse.com and I will reimburse you for the program. Now, Matt, I've got one more question. Then I'm going to ask you for contact info, how people can find out more about you. Here's my question. What's the one question today about LinkedIn and acquiring new clients from LinkedIn that I didn't ask, but I should have asked you?
what do I determine? Everyone talks about leads, okay? And I would say the one question is, how do you qualify what a lead is? And so this is the one thing, because there's so many people out there, and I think there's new LinkedIn people coming up every single day. I see new guys popping up every day. There's automation platforms popping up every day. They like get 2 to 5 appointments booked in your diary every single day through automation. And I look at this and I'm like, look, realistically, here's what happens. Most people are classifying connections as leads. Just because somebody is connected with you doesn't mean that they're a lead. So what I consider as a lead is you've gone and you've specifically targeted these people. You've set up your profile in a way that is going to attract them, that shows them how they can work with you before they talk to you, and walks them down a step-by-step journey that actually makes sense, showing them how you can solve their problem. They've read that. Maybe they've read a couple of testimonials. They've read your about section. They've checked you out. You've then connected with a personalized message. They've enjoyed that. They've responded back. You then send a welcome message, which essentially says something along the lines of this. This is who we work with. These are the results we help our ideal clients get. If you're looking for results like this, let's get on a call and see if there's a good fit. Then we get the email address and their contact number. That's what I consider a lead.
Yeah, big difference. Contacts mean nothing. There are people who are open networkers who connect with anyone.
Connections mean nothing. I want to get someone that has gone through multiple stages, multiple contact points to get there. Because here's the thing, right? Most salespeople or entrepreneurs or people who are selling, 85% of them give up after one contact. 85% of sales are made after 5 or more contacts. And those contacts are not only just getting a phone call, that's, texts, WhatsApps, reading your blogs, articles, posts, videos, audios, podcasts, touching base with them directly, phoning them, multiple points of contact before someone buys. And we see this all the time in our business. A lot of the people that come through have been following us for a while. And I love it because it's so much easier when you're putting those contact points out there, it's so much easier to walk them across the line because they've already been checking your stuff out.
Yeah, especially in light of COVID and the fact that a lot of, some people have gone out of business. Other people are struggling to get clients. The money they're going to invest in marketing is tighter. But the fact is, now's the best time to invest in marketing and new client acquisition strategies. And I think this is an awesome system. So Matt, give us the lowdown on how we can find out more about you, get in touch with you, find out about the Rainmaker system. What's your URL for your website? What do we need to know?
Perfect. So the URL is www.thevirtualedge.com. Go onto the website, thevirtualedge.com. Go and download the 20-minute profile makeover. It's 100% free. This is going to take you through some of the processes of getting your ideal client right, your pickup line right, and the start of your profile. Just those things that we teach you in that is going to help you get up to 33 times more messages and 31 times more views. Already, exposure. Remember that word that we spoke about earlier. Then there's a training that comes after that, which will dive deeper into some of these things. And then at the end of it, if you want to talk to us further, you can simply book a call there and we'll talk to you. Now, here's the thing. We don't just jump on a call with anybody, and we don't just bring anybody into the program, because your offer was absolutely incredible, Ken. I mean, wow. I've never had that happen on a podcast before. So that is absolutely amazing.
You mean the guarantee?
Yeah, the guarantee, 100%. It's nuts.
I only have people on my show that I can actually guarantee. And I had this whim about a year ago, and my show just literally just exploded as a result of doing that. But some people actually believe that I get money from my guest. I'm an affiliate with no one. That is one of the things that I am upfront about, is that I don't make a dime from anything that I recommend on this show, but I'm willing to put my neck on the line because I believe in the book, the product, the coaching program, the service, whatever it is. As a result, the quality of my shows have radically improved, and so has my audience and the response to the shows.
I mean, that's what blew me away, is because we didn't even discuss any of that. So I was thinking, are we going to have that conversation at the end? But no, it's beautiful. And so what we do as well is that we also just don't take on anybody, because not everybody's a good fit. It's that simple. Okay. So what we do is we take people through a process. If you want to come and have a conversation with us and you're sitting here thinking, man, I want to know more about this Rainmaker system, I want to talk to Matt and his team, right? Go and do that. But I'm also going to do something, because I'm in LinkedIn jail at the moment. You can check me out, Matt Clark SA, see if you'll connect. I don't think it's going to allow that at the moment. Because of that, I'm going to do something that I haven't done before on a podcast. I'm going to give you an email address that you can reach me on, right? And this is specifically for you. I haven't done this before as well. Like, I haven't received a guarantee like that. So you can reach out to me at connect ken@thevirtualedge.com. Let me know that you heard me on Ken's podcast, and I will respond to you personally, and we can set up a time to talk either with me or with one of my top strategists, and we can see if this is a good fit for you. And if it's not, we'll give you some advice and help you on your way and tell you where to go. If it is, we've got a couple of options and we can show you what that actually looks like.
So with respect to that free 20-minute profile makeover, is that on the homepage of thevirtualedge.com or is there?
Absolutely.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because I don't want people to have to search around. I want them to be able to get right to it. So it's on the homepage of thevirtualedge.com. It's a very nicely laid out website, guys. Tons of testimonials on there, like crazily happy clients that he's got on there. And some of the results they've gotten are just absolutely astonishing. Man, I want to thank you for being on the show today. It's been a ton of fun.
Absolutely, man, Ken. Yeah, thanks so much. And yeah, I loved your questions, by the way. It's just absolutely awesome to be here. Thank you.
If after listening to my conversation with Matt Clark today, I hope you recognize the amazing opportunity to generate substantial amounts of new business from LinkedIn, and that you can understand and appreciate the importance of using an approach different from the one that virtually everyone else is using to connect, engage, and attract high-value prospects from the LinkedIn platform. And if you will decide to do that, you'll soon discover how Clark's methodology can totally transform your ability to generate new business from this oftentimes frustrating platform. Knowing and understanding how to navigate LinkedIn in a way that allows you to attract and convert high-value prospects into paying clients consistently is now more important than ever. Knowing how to cut through the clutter and noise that permeates the LinkedIn platform with messaging that is magnetic and irresistible to your ideal prospects is a skill set that will serve you for years and years to come. If today's episode has you excited and eager to deploy Clark's methods on LinkedIn, thinking about all the new clients you can start bringing into your business, let me quickly mention several past episodes that are a great complement to today's conversation. The first one you'll find especially helpful is episode 355, Words That Sell, how a former school teacher became a best-selling author and one of the leading communication and presentation experts in the world. Discover how to use metaphors to attract clients and drive sales with Ann Miller, best-selling author of The Tall Lady with the Iceberg. Attracting and connecting with your perfect prospects on LinkedIn has become more challenging than ever, and if you want to use the LinkedIn platform as an additional and reliable source of new clients, you're going to need a specific set of communication and sales skills. Ann Miller reveals her most effective methods for making the sales process easy, effective, and profitable. You'll find that much of what I talked about on episode 355 dovetails perfectly with the strategies you heard in my conversation today with Matt Clark, which makes episode 355 the perfect complement to today's conversation. I'd also recommend episode number 363 with social media marketing genius David Meerman Scott, author of Fanocracy. On this episode, Scott reveals the secret for creating raving customer fans and unveils his blueprint for creating a profitable business and the freedom to live the ultimate lifestyle. Scott discusses the secret for creating a tribe of loyal followers and reveals the step-by-step method you can use to become an influencer, which makes you more desirable to prospects on LinkedIn, not less. Episode number 363 for that. And then finally, I couldn't talk about a proven formula for getting high-value clients from LinkedIn without mentioning my friend Bob Berg's Go-Giver framework for selling on LinkedIn on episode 367. On the episode, Berg revealed strategies you can use to get more clients from social platforms like LinkedIn. The show included his most effective methods for improving brand recognition and increasing your credibility and trust on social platforms, specifically LinkedIn. So improving your LinkedIn marketing strategy's effectiveness is going to be vital to the success of your business in the foreseeable future, as I talked about in today's conversation. Episode 367, a great complement to this as well. All those past episodes you can find on our website at www.kennewhouse.com. Before wrapping up, I want to quickly mention that we're in the process of creating a free membership for you, where you'll be able to access the entire library of conversations searchable by topic since 2017. When you become a member on kennewhouse.com, you'll have instant access to my personal library, the book notes, and the PDF transcripts from today's conversation with Matt Clark. You'll also have access to the notes from other books that I featured on the show for the last few years, plus access to a weekly strategy guide that will come into your inbox every Wednesday. The guide will feature all the links we mentioned on every show that links to books, resources, also other podcast episodes, as well as the most effective strategy we covered on that week's episode. Additionally, the guide will contain other articles online that I found that I think will be useful for you. So be sure to listen for the announcement when we launch the new free membership portal we're creating for you on www.kennewhouse.com. And in addition to all that I've mentioned, remember, the first 500 subscribers will get a free digital copy of the updated version of my book, Profitable Again, as well as a copy of my newest book, Profitable Podcast Blueprint. And speaking of world-class marketing strategists, Andrea Waltz is my guest next week. Waltz is co-author of the runaway best-selling book, Go for No. Yes is the destination, and no is how you get there. Waltz is also co-founder of Courage Crafters, Inc., where Waltz teaches people in virtually every business and industry how to reframe the way they think about failure, rejection, and the word no. Go for No has become a well-known methodology in the world of sales and marketing and is widely recognized as the singular best program on the planet of its kind. The book, Go for No, reached Amazon's #1 best-selling list and has remained in the top 50 sales books of all time on the platform. So if you'd like to learn how to push past your fears and the obstacles that keep you from reaching the pinnacle of success, be sure to join me for a conversation with Andrea Waltz next week. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next Monday. And remember these words from the late Jim Elliot, Christian missionary in South America. He is no fool who gives what he cannot keep to gain what he cannot lose.
Our objective with this podcast is to help you and your business stand out in the marketplace by crystallizing your messaging, marketing, and communications. On behalf of the whole Ken Newhouse team, thanks for listening.